the Basketball Hall of Fame just took place yesterday. So that was pretty interesting. Some names to kind of highlight: Hardaway, Manu Ginobili, Swin Cash, Bob Huggins, Dale Harris, Lindsey Whalen, Marianne Stanley, Teresa Schenk Grants, and George Carl all delivered their enshrinement addresses as new members of the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Now, obviously, the person that stands out the most, you guys see on my screen right now behind me, is Manu Ginobili, number 20 for the San Antonio Spurs, four-time NBA champion, two-time All-Star, 07-08 Sixth Man of the Year, two-time All-NBA, and has a career average of 14-4-4. My question for you is, when you obviously we heard all these names, but the person that, gets highlighted the most is Manu Ginobili. When you hear the name Manu Ginobili, if you had to sum it up, like what comes to mind for you?
Man, Manu, I think he's one of the greatest six men of all time. When I think of six men, he's one of the first ones to come to mind, and he really kind of made it cool to come off the bench and do your thing. You know what I mean? Manu, I'm sure a lot of people remember Manu. He was a I don't know how to describe his game. It was a little unorthodox. He brought a different style to the game, different flair, but he could do a lot on the court. One thing about Manu, he was a competitor too. He was a dog. I think he was about 6'6", lefty too, which is a lot more harder to guard, I think. But Manu really, he really was a star in his role, and sacrificing on a team where he could have been a starter. And I think that right there is definitely it's definitely important. Because growing up, you always get so concerned with starting, you know what I mean. But it's about who finishes the game and who makes an impact. So Manu, he was one of those guys. As soon as he gets on the court, he's gonna lace him up and come at you. So he's definitely one of the greatest six men of all time.
Yeah, I won't even say one of us. I think he is the greatest six man of all time. Obviously, you can point at Lou Williams, you can point at Jamal Crawford, all of them scoring buckets. But as far as a two-way player, and you put him on your team, and you're instantly helps you get over the hump. Definitely Manu Ginobili. So I heard a couple buzzwords that you kind of pointed out that kind of came to mind for me, and for me, is like you said, sacrifice, dedication, openness for humility, and authenticity as well too. And I feel like he kind of, among with like Dirk and the Tony Parkers of the world and whatnot, we have right now. I mean, if it wasn't for him and those other kind of players that I kind of mentioned, there wouldn't be that many international basketball players in the league as well too. Because right now, if you look at the top players in the league, Joel Embiid from Africa, and then you got Europe players like Giannis, obviously he's black as well too, but he's from Greece.
Yeah.
Luka, Joker as well too. So it's kind of crazy how like international basketball has been popularized, and we have more talent as well too, and they've kind of closed that gap between us. But Ginobili, man, that dude was a killer back in the day as well too. So many players now, when they go in transition, what they doing? The Euro step. He made the Euro step cool.
Whole move, you know what I mean?
Made the whole step cool, made it dope as well too. Like you said, that unorthodox solid play that he had as well too. But whenever I saw him on the court, like you said, he accepted his role at the ultimate professional level, because I feel like till this day, like if he was handed the reins on another team, I think they would have been a playoff team, and I think he could have put up at least like 25 per night type shit. I think he was that good. But to see him kind of just go through all of that and still remain professional and still end up winning, and when you think of the Spurs dynasty, obviously you're going to think of Tim Duncan at the top tier with Coach Pop, but there's no Coach Pop and legacy of Tim Duncan without Ginobili as well too. So definitely deserves his flower as well, and just happy for him as well too. And I'm always gonna he's always gonna be in my top 10 of favorite players of all time for sure.